In this video, I will discuss some work energy and power problems from previous year's question papers of IIT JEE. This is the first question. A bob of mass m is suspended by a massless string of length L. The horizontal velocity at position A is just sufficient to make it reach the point B. The angle theta at which the speed of the bob is half that of A is. Four options are given. You can pause the video and attempt this question. Here is the solution. So here we can use a standard result for the bob to make this complete vertical circular motion. The minimum velocity at this bottommost point should be square root of 5gl. This comes from using the fact that the tension in the string and the velocity should be greater than 0 at all points along the circle. So this itself we are using this problem, and it's been given that the horizontal velocity at A is just sufficient to make it reach B. So this velocity should be equal to the minimum velocity, that is square root of 5gl. So the velocity B here, it keeps on decreasing and it will reach a value of half of its value somewhere at this position, and let that position make an angle alpha with the horizontal. Now writing the energy equation between this point and this point, the energy at the bottommost point is the kinetic energy half m square, and at this point the kinetic energy has been reduced to half m v/2 square, but there is a increase in the gravitational potential energy. The earth is somewhere here, so the difference in height between these 2 points, that is the increase in the gravitational potential energy. So this height is the height from here to here, that is L, the radius of the circle, and this length, that is L sine alpha. So the total increase in height is L plus L sine alpha. So half mv square we can take it on one side. Here it is 1/4, so it is 3/4 half mv square equal to this mgl into 1 plus sine alpha, and v is square root of 5gl. So using that we get this one. M is cancelled on both the sides. Similarly gl will cancel, so we'll get the value of sine alpha as 7/8, and 7/8 is 0.875. Sine 45 is a standard angle. Its value is 1/√2, that is √2/2, that is 0.707. In the first quadrant, the value of sine alpha will increase as alpha increases, and since 0.875 is greater than 0.707, so this angle alpha is greater than pi/4, and also this angle alpha is less than 90 degrees because this is less than 1. So alpha is greater than 45 degrees and less than 90 degrees. So theta is the angle from this point, so it is 90 plus alpha, so pi/2 plus pi/4. So theta is greater than 3 pi/4 but less than pi. So the correct option is option D. Let's move on to the next question. A ball of mass m, 0.5 kg, is attached to the end of a string having length L, 0.5 meters. The ball is rotated on a horizontal circular path about vertical axis. The maximum tension that the string can bear is 324 newtons. The maximum possible value of angular velocity of the ball in radian per second is. You can pause the video and attempt this question. So this is the free body diagram of this mass. The weight of the mass is acting downwards, mg, the tension of the string, and then there is a centrifugal force whose value is m omega square r, where r is this radius of this conical pendulum. Let this angle be theta. So the component of tension along this direction, t cos theta, will balance this centrifugal force. So t cos theta is m omega square r, and r in terms of the length of the string is L cos theta. So cos theta will cancel on both the sides. We get tension as m omega square L. So from here we can see the tension will increase as the angular speed omega increases, and the maximum bearable tension is 324. That's been given in the question. So using the maximum value of the tension, we'll get the maximum value of omega. So from this we get omega as square root of 324 divided by 0.5, and 324 is 4 times 81, and square root of that is 2 times 9. So from this we get the angular speed omega as 36 in SI units, that is radian per second. So the correct option is option D. This is the next question. Consider a disk rotating in horizontal plane with constant angular speed omega about its center O. The disk has shaded region on one side of the diameter and unshaded region on the other side as shown in the figure. When the disk is in orientation as shown, two pebbles P and Q are simultaneously projected at an angle towards R. The velocity of projection is in YZ plane and is same for both the pebbles with respect to the disk. Assume that 1. They land back on the disk before the disk has completed 1/8 of rotation. 2. The range is less than half the radius. And 3. Omega remains constant throughout. So 4 options are given. P lands in shaded region, Q in unshaded. P lands in unshaded and Q in shaded. P and Q in unshaded. P and Q in shaded. So basically the pebbles are thrown from here, P and Q. So you have to, and it's been given that it lands on the disk. And we have to find whether it lands on the unshaded part or the shaded part. You can pause the video and attempt this question. So the period capital T is 2 pi by omega, and they have said the thing lands before the disk has completed 1/8 of the rotation. So the time of flight is less than 1/8 of the time period. And velocity of the pebble P with respect to the disk is towards R, so that is in the j cap direction, and let it be V, so it's V j cap. And the velocity of the pebble Q is the same V j cap, and this is given in the question. Both the pebbles have the same velocity with respect to the disk. And velocity of P with respect to the disk is velocity of the pebble with respect to ground minus velocity of this point P with respect to the ground, that is omega R in the I cap direction. And this is V j cap. So from this we get the velocity of the pebble with respect to the ground as omega R I cap plus V j cap, where R is this distance from O to P, and the distance from O to QP is small r. So the velocity of the pebble Q is omega R, instead of capital R we have small r, I cap plus V j cap. To get the displacement of the pebble, we have to multiply this thing with the time. So to find the final range, we multiply the time of flight, total flight. So that is less than T by 8. So the range is less than this velocity of the pebble into T by 8. And T by 8, we can get as pi by 4 omega from here. So using that we get the displacement, the x displacement as less than pi by 4 into r. And pi is around 3.14, so it is less than r. So the pebble from here will make a displacement which is in the x direction less than r, so it will land within the disk. And at any time, if you want to find the displacement of the pebble P, you want to multiply this with time t. So this will be omega r t in the x direction. And this shaded part will move a maximum distance of r sin omega t towards positive x direction. And this pebble displacement is more than that, since sin omega t is greater than omega t. R's omega t is this arc length, and r sin omega t is this length. So arc length is greater than this length, so r omega t is greater than sin omega t. So this pebble P will land somewhere here, so it will land in the unshaded part. And the pebble Q has got a smaller velocity than this pebble P, and will land somewhere here. So both the pebbles will land in the unshaded part. So the correct option is option C. This is the next question. A particle is acted upon by a force of constant magnitude which is always perpendicular to the velocity of the particle. The motion takes place in a plane. It follows that A, velocity is constant, B, acceleration is constant, C, kinetic energy is constant, D, it moves in circular path. This is a question with more than one correct answer, so we have to analyze the options individually. So the thing that is being given in the question is the direction of the force is perpendicular to the direction of the velocity, and the magnitude of the force is constant. And since there is no force acting along the direction of the velocity, the magnitude of the velocity will remain constant. So this is a case of uniform circular motion. So the option A says the velocity is constant. The magnitude of the velocity is constant, but the direction of it keeps changing. So the velocity is a vector. So the velocity vector, since the direction is changing, the velocity vector is not constant. So option A is not correct. Option B talks about acceleration. Acceleration, the direction of acceleration is always radially inward, and the radial direction keeps changing. So the acceleration vector direction changes even though the magnitude is constant. So option B is also not true. Option C talks about kinetic energy, which is half mv square. The velocity of the magnitude of the velocity is constant, so v square is constant, so kinetic energy is constant. So option C is correct. Option D says it moves in circular path. Yeah, this is a case of uniform circular motion, so option D is also true. So the correct options are C and D. This is the next question. Assertion reason type. There are two statements given. Statement 1. A block of mass m starts moving on a rough horizontal surface with a velocity v. It stops due to friction between the block and surface after moving certain distance. The surface is now tilted to an angle 30 degrees with the horizontal, and the same block is made to go up on the surface with same initial velocity v. The decrease in mechanical energy in the second situation is smaller than in the first situation. Second statement is the coefficient of friction between the block and the surface decreases with increase in the angle of inclination. 4 options are given. We have to check whether the statements 1 and 2 are true or false, and whether the two statements are related. Statement 1 says that the block of mass m with velocity v moves a distance and its speed becomes 0 because of the friction on this surface. And when this surface is tilted by an angle 30 degrees, and it's given the same initial velocity, it will move up a certain distance and the velocity will become 0. So you have to compare the laws of mechanical energy in these two cases. Total mechanical energy is kinetic energy plus the potential energy. In the first case, the decrease in the mechanical energy is the decrease in the kinetic energy, half mv square, and the potential energy there is no change. In the second case, the decrease in the mechanical energy is the decrease in the kinetic energy, that's half mv square, and then the decrease in the gravitational potential energy. The earth is somewhere here, and since there is an increase in height, there is an increase in gravitational potential energy, so the decrease in gravitational potential is negative minus mgh. So from this we can see that the decrease in the mechanical energy in the second case is less than the decrease in the mechanical energy in the first case. So the statement 1 is true. Statement 1 says that the decrease in the mechanical energy in the second situation is smaller than in the first situation. So statement 1 is true. Statement 2 states that the coefficient of friction decreases with the inclination of the plane. Coefficient of friction is a property of the surface and is independent of the inclination. So statement 2 is false. So statement 1 is true and statement 2 is false. The correct option is option C. And the two statements are not related.